tower was begun in 1475. It's one of 13 original gates. Now only 2 remain. The tower was used to house all of the gunpowder for Prague, which was kept wet so that it would not ignite. The municipal house was built between 1906 and 1912. Prior to the municipal house, it was the king's palace from 1383 to 1483. Basically, if the king didn't make it back to the castle, he would stay there. Partially burned down at the end of the 19th century, and the rest was taken away because of hygienic reasons. One of the best examples of Art Nouveau in Prague. There is Smetana Hall, Prague's biggest concert hall. This time was pivotal for the Czechs, wanted to try another style. The left restaurant has international food, the right is French style. It's Prague's oldest theater with neoclassical exterior. One of the last remaining wooden theaters left in Europe. Many people refer to this building as Mozarts Theater. Mozart lived under the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which was comprised of 4 key towns: Vienna, Budapest, Salzburg, and Prague. We know Mozart as a great figure in history, though when he lived, he was seen only as a mediocre composer, though still strong enough to come to Prague and produce some pieces. Dancing building is also called the Fred and Ginger building, referring to the American film stars famous for the quick step. There are no right angles in the building. David Czerny's Crawling Babies. On the TV tower in Žižkov, there are some crawling babies. 3 of them are situated in Campa Park. They represent that children are being brought up by TV rather than parental figures. John Lennon Wall. From Lennon's 1980 murder until the end of communism in 1989, this is where the activists defied the anti-pop authorities by scribbling Beatles lyrics and peace slogans. The wall quickly took on a political focus and inevitably developed into a forum for grievances against the communistic state. Even the installation of surveillance cameras and posting of an overnight guard could not stop the opinions from being expressed. Lennon marches also started to take place each year on December 8th. Construction for the Charles Bridge started on July 9th in the year 1357 at 5:31 a.m. This ties in with numerology, with the idea that if you build on odd numbers, your structure will last longer. It was designed by Peter Powler and was completed about 1400. It got its name, the Charles Bridge, in the 19th century. The bridge's main and most important function is that this bridge was the only way to get over the river. So if you were traveling east to west or west to east in the summer, this was the only way to cross the Vitalpa. The word praha means doorframe or threshold. David Czerny's Pissing Men. The little tub the men are standing in is in the shape of the Czech Republic. The statues are made of copper, and that is why they are getting green by the influence of humidity. Czerny designed these statues in order to protest the Czech Republic joining the European Union. The Rudolfinum was completed in 1884 for Rudolf Habsburg, the Austrian prince. Served between the wars as the seat of the Czechoslovakian parliament, it is now the seat of the Czech Philharmonic Orchestra and the place of concerts and exhibitions. The Old New Synagogue was completed in 1270. Europe's oldest working synagogue and one of Prague's earliest Gothic buildings. Originally called the New or Great Shul and subsequently labeled Old New once other synagogue appeared. The Church of Our Lady Beaufortine. Construction began in 1380 to replace another chapel, but it didn't specify the end date. Duality is also apparent in the structure, with two towers, and one is thinner and taller, the left one which is named Eve, and the right tower which is shorter and wider and named Adam. Astronomical Clock. The clock tower started taking time in the 15th century. According to legend, clockmaker Hanush was blinded upon completion of the clock by the prince, due to the prince's fear that Hanush would recreate his masterpiece in another city.